Imagine this, a world torn apart by the chaos of war, where every sunrise could be the last. In the midst of this turmoil, two hearts beat as one. This is the story of Alara and Thomas, a love so profound it defied the very essence of conflict. Their tale begins not with the roar of cannons, but with a quiet promise whispered under a willow tree. A promise to find each other, no matter what. But fate, as it often does in times of war, had other plans. Thomas was called to the front lines, leaving Alara in a world that was rapidly crumbling. They were separated by miles of treacherous, war-torn land. Their only connection, a fragile thread of letters, carried by weary messengers. Each letter was a lifeline, a piece of their heart sent across a battlefield. Thomas wrote of the chilling nights in the trenches, the deafening silence between bombardments, and how the memory of Alara's smile was the only light in his darkness. My dearest Alara, one letter read, "The stars here are hidden by smoke, but I find your constellation in my heart. Hold on to that promise under the willow tree. It is my compass home." Alara, in turn, described her own battles on the home front. She faced scarcity, uncertainty, and the constant fear for his safety. She volunteered as a nurse, tending to the wounded, seeing the devastating cost of war up close. In every soldier she helped, she saw Thomas. Her letters were filled with hope and unwavering love. "My Thomas," she wrote, her ink smudged by a tear, "I am strong for you. I pray for the day this war ends, not for the victory of nations, but for the victory of our love. Come back to me." Their words painted a vivid picture of their separate struggles. Thomas navigated treacherous landscapes, survived ambushes, and witnessed the fragility of life. He carried Alara's locket, a small silver heart, pressing it for strength before every charge. He learned to read the sky, not for its beauty, but for the threat of enemy planes. Every day was a fight for survival, fueled by the hope of one day holding her again. Meanwhile, Alara's world was just as perilous. Her town was bombed, forcing her to flee with nothing but the clothes on her back, and Thomas's letters clutched to her chest. She endured hunger, sought refuge in crowded shelters, and constantly scanned the lists of the fallen, her heart stopping with every familiar name, praying his would never appear. She became a symbol of resilience, her spirit unbroken, her love a silent rebellion against the hatred surrounding her. Years passed. The war raged on, and the letters became less frequent. The silence was more terrifying than any news. Had he fallen? Had she been lost in the chaos? Doubt began to creep in, a cold poison that threatened to extinguish the flame of hope they had so carefully guarded. The promise under the willow tree felt like a distant dream from another lifetime. Then, one day, an armistice was declared. The guns fell silent. A fragile peace settled over the scarred land. Soldiers began the long journey home, but for many, home was no longer there. Cities were in ruins, families scattered. The search began. Thomas, weary and wounded but alive, walked for weeks, his only guide a tattered map and a burning desire to find Alara. He returned to their town to find only rubble and ghosts of what once was. Their willow tree was gone, replaced by a crater. Despair washed over him. He searched shelters, hospitals, and refugee camps, showing her photograph to strangers. His voice hoarse from repeating her name, Alara too was searching. Having been displaced hundreds of miles away, she made her own arduous journey back. She asked every returning soldier if they knew of Thomas. Her hope dwindling with each shake of the head, she arrived at the ruins of her home, her heart shattering at the sight of the devastation. Was he gone forever? Had their love become just another casualty of war? She stood by the crater where their willow tree once stood, the place their promise was made. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face, whispering his name into the wind. And then she heard it. A voice, weak but unmistakable, calling her name. Elara! She opened her eyes. Across the field of debris, a figure emerged from the dust and shadows. It was Thomas. He was thinner, scarred, and leaning on a crutch, but it was him. His eyes, the same eyes that held a universe of love, were locked on hers. They ran. They stumbled through the ruins that had once been their world, their own private battlefield, until they finally crashed into each other's arms. It wasn't a grand cinematic embrace. It was desperate, raw, and real. They held each other, sobbing, laughing, two halves of a soul finally made whole again. The war had taken everything from them, their home, their youth, their innocence. But it could not take their love. In the quiet aftermath, surrounded by destruction, they found their true victory. It wasn't in a treaty or on a battlefield. It was in that reunion, a testament to the enduring power of the human heart. Their love story, forged in the fires of war, became a quiet legend, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope survives, and love, against all odds, finds its way home. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tales of courage and love. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you next time.